What would a barefoot man get if he stepped on an electric fence?
A pair of socks.
No, a pair of shocks.
I said that!
You said socks. Say shocks.
Socks.
Shocks.
Socks.
Shocks.
Socks!
You need some teeth right there. Most of the ideas I come up with are out of necessity. One of the things I've just never got around to organizing in my shop are the endless amount of chargers, batteries, transformers, power strips. I've got them laying all over the place. I've always wanted to come up with a charging station, so that's what we're going to do today. The first thing I had to do was figure out where I'm going to put it in my shop. The only place left I've got is in this window bay. So I took some measurements and I came up with this drawing. So I went to Home Depot to pick out a couple of pine boards. It wasn't easy. They have so much junk there that I had to sort through just to find two good straight boards. So we're going to go to the garage and cut this wood down to the specifications I have here in the diagram. There's 8 boards, but again, you can build this to fit your space. You can put as many shelves as you want. You can build the basic box to the size that fits your space. So I just got back in from the garage after cutting my 2 boards. It's freezing. It's 9 degrees outside. That was probably the fastest wood I ever cut. But I do have all 10 fingers, so let's begin assembly. I want to make sure that I cut the boards correctly before I get carried away screwing it all together. Perfect. Where the ends butt together, I'm drilling these pilot holes and countersink holes with this countersink bit.
I'm doing the outside, the inside wall.
Okay. So the box is finished. I gave it a light sanding to round the edges, and then I gave it some dark walnut stain to give it some character. I'm not going to put any finish on it. This isn't a fine piece of furniture. It's going in the basement. Nobody really cares. For the next step, I'm going to give it a dry fit. What I mean by that is I'm going to take all my batteries, all the supplies that I want to put in here, and see how they fit. Then I'm going to put the power strips on and get a basic idea of how I want this thing to function. Here's a cool trick for transferring measurements for the screw holes on the power strip to the wood. Line up a piece of paper on the back of the power strip. Hold it firmly in place. Using a pencil, lightly scribble over the holes. This is going to leave an imprint of the mounting holes on the paper. Line it up to the wood, and using an awl, you can mark perfect holes every time.
Repeat the process for all the power strips.
So we've got our charging station now with 2 power strips mounted on the side and 1 on the top. That gives us a total of 16 outlets. Now we're never going to have 16 devices charging at the same time. Each power strip has its own on-off switch. And also what we're going to do is we're going to take this gang box with a switch just like you'd have in your house, and we're going to mount it on the top, and we're going to wire each of these power strips into this box. And then we're going to have one cord coming off, and we're going to plug that into the wall. So we can shut the whole thing down with the flip of the switch, or we can leave this on and shut off each power strip individually.
If you're not familiar with electrical wiring, you can have a skilled person do this for you, or you can just skip this step and mount a couple of power strips and plug them directly into your wall outlet. I'm going to snip off the plug from the cable of each power strip since they're going to be hardwired into the gang box. The large power strip that we're going to put on top has a 6-foot cord, so I'll cut off 4 feet and use that for the input power. These are electrical connectors which you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's. We're going to be using 4 of them for this project. You can tap on the fastening nut with a screwdriver clockwise for a snug fit. Our 3 power strip cords are now hardwired to the box. I'm connecting the input power here. Using a wire strippers, carefully cut through the outer plastic, but be careful not to nick any of the 3 internal wires. Now you can pull it off, exposing the green ground wire, the black hot wire, and the white neutral wire. All of the wires are going to need to be stripped off about a 1/2 inch at each end. Our hot wire, or the black wire from the input on the power cord, is going to get wired directly to one end of the light switch. I'll add a separate 6-inch wire to the other end of the light switch. This 6-inch wire is going to get wired together with all of the black wires from each of the 3 power strips. Now I've taken care of all of the black wires. Next up, the white wires, which we're not going to do anything special with those except strip them all back and fasten them together with a red wire nut. For the green ground wires, they're going to all get fastened together and connected to the green screw on the switch. Carefully coil up the wires and put the cover on.
All right, I've got everything wired up and ready to go. We're going to test it out now. I put a lamp into this power strip. So let's see what it does. 3, 2, 1. There we go. All right, we're going to install all the equipment, put this back in the window, and see what it looks like. So I've got the shelf in place. I think it looks great. It came out better than I expected. I've got 3 power strips. I labeled them A, B, and C. I have 3 shelves, A, B, and C, and plenty of extra room if I need to put other batteries. If I want to shut off everything on the bottom row, I simply flip the switch here. If I want to shut off everything here, I flip the B switch. If I want to shut off here or anything plugged into the top, I simply flip that off. And if I want to shut down everything altogether, I'll flip that switch. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope yours comes out as good as mine. Thanks for watching Allie Picked. See you next time. Where do electricians buy their supplies from?
Store.
The Home Depot.